And it is time. What is up, everyone? Welcome back to my live stream. My name is Tyler Ramsbey. I am your host for this evening. And hey, just want to let you know I am live streaming on 3 different platforms. You're welcome to join on whatever platform works best for you. We are live right now on YouTube, on Twitch, and on LinkedIn. So for all of you watching the live stream as it happens, I want to say a special hello and welcome and thank you to you for joining me for the live stream. And hey, if you're watching this after the fact on my YouTube channel, still an honor to have you taking the time, hang out, and learn with me. In today's stream, we are going to continue our journey of learning Azure pen testing. Now, if you're new to my stream, I generally stream what I'm trying to learn in my personal life, and I have my very first Azure pen test coming up next week. So I've been grinding out, going through Azure Labs, specifically on an incredible platform I discovered called pwnlabs.io, and I got a premium subscription because it is well worth it. So we're going to continue working through those labs, and we're going to work through a premium lab today and give you a taste for what it's like. So if you do not have a premium sub to pwnlabs.io, you cannot follow along, but hey, you should get one. It is well worth it, but you can at least get a taste, get a glimpse of what it's like to do their premium labs. And if you don't have a sub, you can live vicariously through me. But let me share my screen. If you joined me last week, you know that my Kali machine fell apart. Like it just broke down trying to install Azure Recon. So this is a completely fresh instance of Kali, so we will probably have to install tools as we go, but that makes it a little more fun because you can see the process of getting the Kali machine set up for Azure pen testing. So the only thing I did is I installed Azure Recon because I wanted to see if it worked, and it worked with no issues. So my other Kali VM really is just broken. So we need to get our nodes set up, we need to get our tools set up, and I'll walk you through that process. But here we are. We're in pwnlabs.io, and let's go ahead and switch our platform over to Azure. And the lab I want to take you through is this one, Azure Recon to Foothold and Profit. So let's go ahead and start pwning, and we will turn our lab on. Now, while that does its thing, let's see if we can get Cherry Tree open. I don't remember if I have this loaded yet. I might have one here. Let me see. Or not open folder. I want to open a file. There are notes. Okay. So blank notes. Let me set my preferences, see if I need to change anything here. Format, plain text and code. Let's see, fonts, that's what I'm looking for. Yeah, let's up our fonts a little bit here. Let's just throw it to 16 so we can see it good. And code font we'll do 14. Plain text we'll do 16. All right, everything else looks good to me. The other thing I want to turn off is highlight current line because that annoys me. All right, everything else looks good. So let's go ahead and we can delete this one. And let's create a new node. And based on the lab that we're doing is this one, Azure Recon to Foothold and Profit. So we'll type that in, and then we have our node ready to go. And before we even dive into things, let's go ahead and copy down the information we have. So we're given a target domain, so let's do that. We have a target domain, and that's our target domain. We'll just make this H1 to make it a little easier to follow. So we have our target domain, and what information do we have? First, look at this. Hey, if you want a subscription to pwnlabs.io, here you go, 10% off on all subscriptions, pwned together. Come join, come hack stuff with me. Would love to have you check out the platform. So here's our scenario, and here are our learning outcomes and some real world context type stuff. So let's copy down first our scenario, and then we'll read through it. So we'll do scenario, if I could spell. So here is our scenario. Mega Big Tech, a leading player in the tech development industry, has recently transitioned to a hybrid cloud model. They maintain a robust on-prem Active Directory domain while leveraging the capabilities of Azure Cloud Services, a very real-world environment. Given their prominence in the tech sector, they are acutely aware of potential cyber threats and are keen on fortifying their defenses. Your team, that is Hack Smarter Security, renowned for its expertise in cybersecurity, has been approved by Mega Big Tech to conduct a comprehensive penetration test on their infrastructure. We've only been given the domain name megabigtech.com. With this information, we will have to enumerate as many assets as possible and manage to get into Mega Big Tech infrastructure. Let's go. Over on Twitch, Dr. Cubic said, hello, just a small comment. Have you ever tried Joplin? Way better than Cherry Tree. I haven't. I bounce around from note taking stuff almost as often as I bounce from VM to VM. Honestly, I'm not tied to any specific note taking software. The biggest goal is just take notes. The thing I like about Cherry Tree is just all the nodes I can add. I'm guessing Joplin's the same thing. We have our learning outcomes. So learning outcomes, at least in PwnLabs.io, helps give us kind of like a roadmap without giving us the specific answers. But it does give us an idea, hey, here are the things we're looking for each step of the way. So what are we going to do? We're going to do unauthenticated and authenticated Azure enumeration. We're going to utilize red team tooling to confirm valid creds and gain a foothold. We're going to do Entra ID user, group, role, and RBAC enumeration. We're going to do some Azure App Service web app enumeration. We're going to leverage Kudu diagnostic site for lateral movement and familiarity with the sqlcmd utility. All right, if that stuff makes no sense to you, that's totally fine. We're going to stumble through this together, and I'll do my best to explain it as I go. Now, like I told you before, I'm still learning this stuff as well, but I've noticed the best way for me to learn is to teach it and to learn it together. So we will dive through this together. If we go at our real-world context, so threat actors may utilize leaked information, whether unintentionally disclosed, intentionally pasted online, or sold on the dark web, in conjunction with tactics like credential stuffing and password spraying to try and gain initial access. Once inside the network, they may leverage management and diagnostic tools for lateral movement. This allows them to navigate through the network, escalating privileges and accessing more sensitive areas, thus amplifying the potential damage from the initial information leak. See, I'm missing chat. What is up to everyone joining in chat? And I will just say, y'all, if you all have any questions for me about really any topic, I don't care, let me know. And I'll kind of do AMA as we hack stuff. Very informal. We'll just kind of hang out as we work our way through this. Want to say hello over to you on LinkedIn. If you're on LinkedIn, you leave a comment and I don't get to it right away. It's because LinkedIn makes me manually refresh the page to see the comments, but I do see your comments now. Muhidin, I think I'm probably saying that wrong, but said, love to be here. You have Azure Cloud Security in your tagline. So, hey, you might be able to teach me. And we have Hunter. He said, do you really live in South Dakota? I'm from Rapid City originally, in Vegas because of the military. That I do. I do live in South Dakota, my friend. In rural South Dakota. More cows than people, but here I am. Okay, I think I'm caught up on comments. Check this out. So we got 13 people on LinkedIn. We got 10 people on Twitch. What do we got on YouTube? Dang, and 21 people on YouTube. So if I do the math, we have 21, 31, for almost 50 people watching live. That's super exciting. Like, I'm blown away every time because when I started live streaming for like all of my early streams, it was no one. Sometimes it would show one person, but that's because I was monitoring it on my phone. Like I was my only viewer. So it's crazy to me that 50 of you are taking the time to at least hang out and watch me stumble through this lab. So thank you for being here. Glad you get something useful out of the live stream. Really do find that as an honor. One thing that I need to do, we're not going to look at the full walkthrough, but there is a leak that you can't really find on your own. At least I can't. So I am going to pull this up. When you are doing an external pen test, which is kind of what this is like. If you're a pen tester right now and you've ever done an external network pen test, generally what you do is you look for breach credentials. So you can go through the breach cred database, you can query for the domain and see, hey, can I find any breach credentials there? Can I find it in other places online? And so right away, we're actually given this almost as a starting point. We have this mega big tech leak on a real Pastebin, but this is all the information we have. So we don't have an account, but we do seem to have some type of dev password. So we'll want to keep this information just as we dive into things. And let's go ahead and make a subnode and we'll just call it enumeration. And so we'll say, hey, we found these credentials from Pastebin, and then we will start doing some more formal enumeration. So when it comes to enumerating Azure, there's a lot of different tooling that we can use. Now, I will just say, if you're going to get into Azure pen testing, generally speaking, you want a Kali machine or Ubuntu. It really doesn't matter. Kali or Ubuntu really are the same thing. You can install the same tools. My main OS for work is actually Ubuntu, not Kali, but some type of Linux machine and a Windows machine. Generally speaking, you want both because different tooling works better for other ones. So I have here my Windows machine with some tooling installed. So this will be our Windows machine. And of course, this will be our Kali machine. So let's just do some research. I'm actually going to pull up my Windows machine. As we do this research, we'll open up Chrome and we will type in Azure. Let's see, Azure Unauthenticated Recon. All right, let's check out some of these tactics. And one tool, if my memory serves me correct, is AAD internals. Whoops, I don't even know if I have it installed, but I remember going through it on a course. So let's look at a few of these and see what's going on. So hack tricks, I'm still building the Azure methodology. So let's see what they say. So we have leaks in GitHub or similar OSINT. So we already kind of covered that. If we pull up our notes here on our Kali machine, that's kind of where that leak came from. Social engineering, that's kind of out of scope since it's a lab. We're not going to call anyone. Password reuse, that is what we have. We do have a password, but we don't know any usernames yet. We have vulnerabilities in Azure hosted applications. So if we can find a web server, we might be able to do that. And let's just go ahead and check that. So if we go back to our Kali machine, we know that this is our target domain, megabigtech.com. And we could just see if that's a website. And it's not. It's part free, courtesy of GoDaddy. So nothing, at least right there. But we do have the domain. Third-party breach, internal. So none of this is really going to be super helpful for us. Here, let's check this out. So there are some public Azure APIs that just knowing the domain of the tenant, which we have, an attacker could query to gather more information about it. You can query directly the API or use the PowerShell library AAD internals, which is actually what I had pulled up here. So let's check this out. If we go to the kill chain, explicit, I have no interest in paid promotion, bro, because I not even a Twitch partner. I don't even make money from Twitch, so don't spam my channel. All right, let's keep going. AAD kill chain. So if we look at our kill chain, we can see as an outsider, and that's kind of what we're doing. We can do get AAD in tenant domains, open ID configuration. Let's run some of these scripts. So let's get PowerShell open. Okay, it apparently didn't read the PowerShell aspect of it. Run it as administrator. And if you do this yourself, I would encourage you, of course, turn off Windows Defender. This is like my Windows hacking VM. So there's no security on here. Go to our desktop, tools. Do I have AAD internals on here somewhere? Maybe not. What's this? Whoops. CD Azure. What's this? dir. Okay, no, not that. Can I just import module AAD internals? Whoops. Oh, hey, easy as that. All right, we have the module imported, and let's check out the commands we can run. So, can I copy? Maybe if I click this. So these are the APIs. Okay, here's what it does. So login information, including the tenant ID. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, it didn't copy because PowerShell doesn't like me. And megabigtech.com, like that. So that gives us our tenant ID. So we can go ahead, we can actually just copy this whole command. Oh my goodness, come on, don't do that to me, bro. Pull up Kali, go to enumeration, and we'll say tenant ID, as that will come in handy, I'm sure. Geez, nothing is pacing right. Copy. Oh, I might have to adjust some things. Keyboard. Is it devices maybe? Shared clipboard, that's what I need to do, bidirectional. Let's see if that does it. Like I said, fresh install of Kali, there's going to be some things we need to tweak because I haven't modified it much at all. And we'll do Control-Alt-C in order to do some code syntax, and we'll do PowerShell. All right, so we have that. Let's see what else we can do. All domains of the tenant, so we could see, well, I guess we can see if there's other domains. I don't know if that'll come handy or not. Oh, so this is actually the cloud one. So that's not gonna, like, Ian Clown Pwned. Ian is the founder of Pwn Labs. So megabigtech.com is going to be the only one in scope for us. Login information of the tenant, including tenant name and domain authentication type. So let's do that. Come on, bruh. Copy. Oh, that's a username. Can I do it with just domain? Maybe not. Oh, did I do this one? No, okay. Let's check this one out. Mega Big Tech. Okay. So we have tenant brand, tenant name, tenant ID, tenant region. And here's the one that we want to attack, megabigtech.com. One thing to stand out is it's managed, which means it's using Entra ID, formerly known as Azure ID. So that's just something that we'll want to keep in mind, that that is enabled. And we'll just copy this as well. I'll just paste it here. We'll keep it underneath tenant ID, I suppose. All right, let me get caught up on comments. Kevin said, I've been studying web pen testing. I just finished cross-site scripting. Could you touch on what the major differences are, considering I can still follow along? Kevin, do you mind clarifying your question? Do you mean major differences between web pen testing and Azure pen testing? Is that what you're asking? Let me know and I'll be happy to answer it. Nox said, sorry for the long question while you're streaming. First, totally fine. The whole purpose of these streams is to work through the labs, but also to do AMA. So, like, if any of you have questions, no need to apologize. This is my time to interact and do my best to answer questions. He said, when you were streaming the Red Team Capstone, did you have to get permission to stream it? I was wanting to go through it myself, but didn't want to stream it if I was going to get myself in trouble. You will not get yourself in trouble. Go ahead and stream it. I did technically need... So, when the Red Team Capstone first came out, just a little bit of context, it was available to, I think, all premium users for 1 month. Then it became a business-to-business exclusive. During that 1 month period, they selected 3 streamers to live stream it, and I believe we were the only ones who were supposed to. It was me, Al Has Red, and Tiberius, I believe, were the streamers who at least worked all the way through the capstone. So us 3 did it. But now that period's over, you have free reign to stream it. So you can live stream as you work your way through it. Totally not a problem. And actually, if you do it, yo, send the link to me. We'd love to watch it. Oh, we got 2 Kevin. So let me answer the first Kevin's question. He said, I've been studying web pen testing, just finished cross-site scripting. So there are a lot of differences. When it comes to Azure, there are some web app pen testing. Like cross-site scripting might be one specific means to steal credentials for an admin user to then pivot into Azure. But knowing Azure and knowing cloud is a completely different beast. The closest parallel would be network pen testing, both external and internal network testing. Those come close, but still, cloud is just a completely different beast. Some of the terminology and things you have to understand. Another Kevin said, hey, lots of love from India. You've been a great inspiration to me. I've been trying the Red Team Capstone, and I've done it before, but now I don't remember password. What should I do? Password for Try Hack Me? You have to go through Try Hack Me. Hey, Tyler, see you're using HackTrace. It's recently been on blast for plagiarism. Are you using it for Azure because it's the best resource? No, I just pulled it up. I haven't followed the drama surrounding it at all. So no comment. How do you work with me one-on-one? Stay tuned. I will be announcing this week our coaching program, and our coaching program will be pay what you can, not to us, but to a nonprofit of your choice. And it will be me, and I think we're up to 4 other people, all specializing in everything from pen testing to blue team to DevOps. So if you're not part of the Work Smarter Discord, that's where that's going to be announced later on this week. No, password for the capstone when you register for the bank. I'm not sure, Kevin, to be honest. It's been too long. You're better off posting the Try Hack Me Discord. Over on Twitch, Big Mama Tristana, cool name, said, do you work as a pen tester? Yes. If so, what kind of engagements do you primarily work? Primarily web apps, but I do web apps, pen tests. I do external network pen tests, internal network pen tests. I do mobile apps, both iOS and Android. I do APIs. I do AWS, and I'm starting to do Azure. I think I hit all of them. All right, let me get a drink of water. Lots of talking. All right, we have 20, 40. I think we're at over 50 people now across the 3 platforms. Awesome. All right, let's continue our enumeration. Let me go back to Windows. Here we go. So invoke reconnaissance. We did that. From the output, we can see tenant information, including the tenant name, ID, and brand name. We can also see whether desktop, blah, blah. Okay, gotcha. User enumeration. So we don't know any users yet, but if we did, we could see if a user exists. Phishing. Okay. Let's go through the full documentation and see what other modules we have here. So configuration, playing with access tokens, no. Tenant information. All right, let's check out some of these. I think we already looked at this one. We're just going to pull a bunch of these open. Well, I think it's just a page, right? Here. I think it's just one page. Okay, so we can get login information for a specific domain. That's what I was trying to do before. Let's try that. megabigtech.com. So, anything stand out? First, account type managed. That means it's using Entra ID. Domain name, default directory. So nothing too useful there. Get AAD int endpoint instances. This function returns Office 365 instances and information when the latest changes have been made. Oh, that's like for all of it, not just for our endpoint. What's this? Yeah, okay, that's not going to be helpful. We already did that, I think. Tenant ID, we already did that. Open ID, I don't think that's going to be super helpful either. Service locations, no. Service plans, service principles. Tenant domain. Tenant domain. So none of this I don't think is going to be super useful for us. Nope, nope, nope. Okay, let's go back to the overview. If anyone sees anything interesting, let me know in chat. I'll get caught up in chat in just a little bit. If you are leaving comments there, I will promise I'll go back. Just want to see if I can find anything. Okay. There is a function, I'm almost certain, that will check for like any websites or services that are running, but I can't remember what it's called. Services, maybe? Okay, no, that's not going to find it for me. AAD. Static websites running. Might have to look at the walkthrough for this part because I'm blanking. There is an AAD. If anyone can find it, let me know. There's an AAD internals one that will essentially try to brute force all the running services and like static websites, and that might be our initial way in. Here, I'll answer some comments real quick. Do you virtualize iOS or just have a rooted iPhone? You can't really virtualize iOS unless you use, I think it's Corellium, which is uber expensive. I have an iPhone X running iOS 16.6, and yeah, iPhones is technically called jailbroke it. Androids are rooted, iPhones are jailbroken. Basically the same thing though, but yeah, my iPhone is jailbroken. So is my Android. Clown said, this is neat. There were a few CTFs in John Hammond's month-long Hunter CTFs last October that had you scope out some info from AD internals tenant. Is there an AWS equivalent for AD? Yes, I'm sure there is, but I don't know what it is off the top of my head. I'm trying to think. Like Paku, written by the greatest pen testing company around, does a lot of this. If you look up Paku. Noxuma said, after your interview with Simply Cyber, I had to go back and check out your video on CVEs. Love that. Thank you, my friend. Thank you for the kind words. Make sure I'm not missing anything on LinkedIn. All right, let's see if I can find what we're looking for, y'all. I'm sure I just missed it. Not configuration, not playing around with access tokens. It has to be tenant information. I feel like it's this, but it must not be. No, it's not. Oh, good call, dude. Pamgin, you are king, bro. You're right. Let's try that. Let's go back over to Cali. Okay, maybe it's none of the ones I think it is. Let's just give it all of them. Whoops. Stop. No, I haven't seen Elia. Or Elia. I'll have to check that out. Yeah, we're unauthenticated. All right, so y'all, I'm not going to be stuck on here forever. Let's look at what I'm missing. I don't want to look at too much of the walkthrough. So they're just doing the API. Like we did something similar here, but I use AAD internals. They're just using the actual API. Yep, all stuff I already did. Yep, I did this. Did this. Did this. Oh, shoot. I'm looking at the wrong tool. Is it microburst? Here. I think I'm looking at the wrong tool. That's enough to get me going. Let's check out microburst. That might be what we need. CD microburst. Import module. Let's let that import. And while it imports... Let's go. Yep, I already did tenant ID and tenant domains, but good guess. Let's check out microburst. So it's not even documented. Hold up. This, I wonder if this will do it. This script takes a base word, so we could use mega big tech and list of permeations to enumerate several Azure services for potential targets. That might be helpful. What's this? Oh, ACR container. I wonder if it's something like this. What up, Lord Gucifer? I do penetration testing. I don't do red teaming. This is still loading. Oh, but that's permeations. All right. I don't want to be stuck here forever. Let's just glance at that specific part of it. Oh, no, it is right. Enumerate, that's the one I was guessing, right? Enumerate Azure subdomains. Okay, you know what? I was looking at the right one. Totally fine then. Come on. All right. Although this, I think this is a separate script actually. If we do dir cd miscellaneous dir right there. Oh, I'm doing the wrong one. Okay, so we give it our base. So if I do this and do mega big tech.com, or just make a big tech, I wonder. This might take a while because I think it's brute forcing. So good time to answer any questions in chat. If y'all have any questions, let me know. Let me get chat pulled back up. All right. It's a privilege to watch a ninja at play. Well, thank you for considering me a ninja, Christopher. Tamkin said, fun fact, Microburst doesn't play with virtualized Windows on M1 chip. It made me sad. Oh, man, that sucks. Sorry to hear that. And here's the odd thing about my setup, y'all. My personal computer here, which is what I'm running everything on, is only has 16 gigs of RAM. And so I can't actually run my Kali VM and OBS and like live stream to all these platforms and run Windows. So actually the Windows VM we're on right now, I'm hosting on another computer, like almost as a server, and I'm RDP'd into it. So actually what we're on right now is on a computer sitting on a desk over there. I call it the Tyler Cloud. So we're actually in the Tyler Cloud on my Windows machine here. So if you have another machine, you could always spin up a Windows VM on that one and just RDP into it. That's literally how I'm doing it right now. I've been looking for a clear explanation, struggling to understand. Can you touch on the differences between pen testing and red teaming? Yeah, actually, also, if you watch my video I released about the red team capstone, I go into that. But here's the big idea. A pen test is time limited. So generally speaking, let's say I'm hired for a pen test on a web app. I may only have 5 days to pen test this web app, and the client company wants me to find every vulnerability as possible and give them a report. And what they'll often do is even turn off like the web application firewall to give me full access to everything, because they want me to not be like wasting my time trying to bypass firewalls and just find all the vulnerabilities that are possible and then give them a report with some remediation at the end of the day. A red team engagement, on the other hand, it's usually much longer. It could be a month, 3 months, 6 months, even longer. Where in a red team engagement, I would be emulating an APT or an advanced persistent threat, and the goal would be being stealthy. And the goal isn't finding every vulnerability, but usually you have an objective at the end of the day. So the objective might be, hey, can you steal this specific piece of sensitive information transaction? Or can you make a fraudulent transaction if it's a bank, for an example? And so the goal during that is to remain stealthy and go for goal execution, not just vulnerabilities, but goal execution. And a red team engagement often includes a bunch of different service types. So in a red team engagement, you might be doing an external pen test, an internal pen test. You might do a Wi-Fi test where you set up a rogue access point on site, hoping that employees connect to it, because if they do, you can probably steal their AD credentials to get access to the AD environment. You might do on-site social engineering, trying to get into forbidden areas in the building, trying to steal information that way. It's really much longer, much more stealthy, and once again, emulating that APT, that advanced persistent threat. So red teaming is a much more advanced version of pen testing. So like pen testing is often the first step, and if you want to be a red teamer, it's good to be a pen tester for at least a little bit of time so you understand really solid fundamentals and then move into red teaming. I hope that helps. Yeah, and Pamkin's answering kind of similar things. Athriel said, hello, thanks. I'm planning to take the OSCP next year. I'm already doing Hack the Box and Try Hack Me on the side. Do you think that prepares me well for the OSCP? Maybe. Honestly, the best prep for the OSCP would be Proving Grounds Practice by OffSec. And the reason I say that is Proving Grounds Practice, those machines are created by OffSec staff, and they actually have some retired OSCP machines. So if you want to really know, are you ready for the OSCP? I would go through the Proving Grounds Practice machines from TJ Knowles' list, and that'll give you a good snapshot of whether or not you're ready, and really one of the best ways to prep. Knox said, do you do anything to prevent showing personal data, or are you just aware of what you're doing while you're streaming? I try to be aware. When I stream, I only use VM. So like this is a Windows VM and my Kali VM. And the VMs I use are only made for streaming. I don't do anything else on them besides live streaming. And when I have to share like my host computer, I'll switch like this to my face cam so you're not watching my screen. Pumpkin said, I want to make a tool for my Azure Research Pen Test where it does C2 framework for both Kali and Windows terminal sessions and sends Azure commands to the appropriate box and then stores responses. Yo, that'd be awesome. Geez, lots of questions. Let me check Twitch, though. Still using Kato? If so, how are you feeling about it now? Missing functionality, things better than the burp? I still use Kato when I stream, yeah. But it's still missing a lot of functionality, at least compared to Burp Suite Pro. So when I do actual web app pen testing, I still use Burp Suite Pro, not Kato. Logie said, I looked at Bug Bounty a few years ago, but avoided going into it after seeing a lot of rule sets with the practical and possible constraint. Don't do anything that has the potential to disrupt the platform. Before I even read the rest of your question, that is actually a pretty valid constraint. Even in web app pen testing, clients will ask us the same thing. So like you don't want to do denial of service attacks or anything like that. If you're doing cross-account attacks, you should be making your own account. So let me just pause you there. That's not an impossible constraint. That's a very real-world constraint you'll encounter as a pen tester. So I've run up against some systems on contracts that break from running a simple TCP scan with Nmap. How do bug bounty participants go about navigating situations where you don't have a test environment with stricter rule sets? So I think generally speaking, things that are on bug bounty are not going to break by a simple Nmap scan. That's going to be other software. And in a pen test, we're very careful about that. Usually the client tells us like, these IPs don't scan. How do bug bounty participants go about navigating situations who don't have a test environment with stricter rule sets? I don't do a lot of bug bounty, to be honest, so I'm probably not the best answer for that. I do have a handful of bug bounties, but I don't do it regularly. NahamSec would be the best person. Overall Care said, things not to do. CPTS exam by Hack the Box. Yo, CPTS is legit. I think it's probably the hardest so-called entry-level exam out there. Way harder than the OSCP by far. Is this doing anything? Hold up. Can I even get out of this? Let me try this a different way. Let's try this. I'll still answer questions. If I can't get a subdomain, I'm just going to look at what the subdomain is. So it's kind of like brute forcing. I don't want to just waste my time having you guys watch my screen. Oh, Devesh said, I'm over on LinkedIn, said if someone's learning from beginner level, how long period for pro level? It all depends on the person. I can't answer that. And I also don't know what you mean by pro level. Do you mean like being paid for it? For me, it took me 2 years to go from beginner level to a pen tester. But that's with the caveat that this is like all I freaking do. Like after I get my kids to bed, I'm back on my computer and grind it out. So I'm pretty sure I study and grind more than 90% of the people out there. So it's possible to do it in 2 years, but unlikely. Dude, overgrown carrot, you're taking it now? Yo, bro, I'm so excited to hear about how it goes. You got this, dude. You got this. I'm looking forward to the video on your YouTube channel of how you pass the CPTS. It's a 10-day engagement, right? Just go to bed, dude. Chill out for a little bit. Check the SSL search instead for subdomains. That's a good idea, but I don't think there's any certs for these. I think they're all HTTP. In the real world, that's an awesome idea, though. Honestly, wonder how you do that. All right, hold up. Let's see if I'm even doing the right thing. It might just be something that takes forever, like a brute force attack. Oh no, okay, so that's what I did. What the f... That's the first... You guys saw me do that? That's the exact thing I did first. I mean, I did do verbose, but that's the exact thing I did. Hold up. Does it just take forever? Here, let me grab that. Copy. Windows. Maybe it found it, but since I didn't have verbose mode on, it didn't spit it out right away. It was waiting until it was done, and it clearly takes forever to do it. Okay, so you can see, here's what it's going to end up finding. Let's just jot that down in our notes. Can I copy that? I can't. So megabigtech.azurewebsites.net. Do I have that right? Okay, and we'll let our scan run. I'm curious how long it will take to find it. But hey, at least I was doing the right thing. Sure, I'm not missing anything. Okay, I don't think I'm missing anything in the comments. But if you guys have questions, feel free to keep going through them and I'll jump back over there. We're going to let this run in PowerShell just because I'm curious how long it will take to actually find it. But in the meantime, let's go back to this. Let's scroll all the way up. I don't want any more of the walkthrough. And we'll pull up our notes here. So we know we have these two websites. Now, if you're new to Azure, we know just based on the title that these are going to be static websites on Azure, and SCM is going to be the way you manage it. And I think if we go here, if we just, we can even ask ChatGPT. Let's go like this. All right, so in the context of Azure Web Apps, SCM stands for the Source Control Management. When you see SCM in the URL, it refers to the Kudu Council, which we'll get to, or Azure App Services Deployment and Management Council for that specific web app. The Kudu Council provides a web-based interface for a variety of advanced administrative features, including deployment, blah, blah. So it's a way to manage the app, but generally you're not going to be able to access this until you get credentials. Someone with, I think it's website contributor role in Azure, would be the one with access to this. This isn't going to work for me. At least I'm guessing it's not going to work. See, it wants me to log in because that's the management of the app. But if we can get the account that might have that privilege, then we'll be able to do it. So let's just look at this website and see what stands out to us. Right, so we have our website right here. Meet our innovative team. Let me go ahead and turn light shot on so we can take some better screenshots. And we'll drop this in our notes. Right? Like that, pull up Cherry Tree, and here we go. There is our website. Dude, nice. Pam Guinea said, I'm on an Azure Pentest right now and found a Kudu console that was deployed as a different Docker container. The environment variable said a SQL connection string. That's incredible, dude. Congratulations. All right, so all of these don't go anywhere, but we do have Meet Our Team. We have Yuki, Yamamoto, and Product Manager. So these, and Kudo Sarah. So we actually have some users here. So let's go ahead and take a screenshot of that. All right, we'll go like, hey, here's a user, and then all of these are users. And then remember, we still have those credentials that we found on that Pastebin. MegaDev79. We can see one user has the name Senior Developer, so it's probably worth trying to authenticate with their account. So yuki.tanaka at megabigtech.com. Let's just see if we can log in as them. Azure portal login. Hey, it works. So that's a valid account. Because this has dev in the name, this may be the leaked password on that Pastebin for Yuki. Let's try to sign in. Over here, I'm head back to my computer, have me in the headphones. Good luck with the exam, my friend. Look at that. We have initial access. What tool am I using for screenshot? It's called Lightshot. All right, so we have valid credentials. We have a foothold. We have access to this. We see Mega Big Tech Dev App and App Service, so that probably will come in handy. But let's go ahead and do some other enumeration with the tool that I couldn't get to work last time called Road Recon. Let me change my preferences here, make this a little bit bigger for you all watching. Road Recon. Look at that. It's already installed and probably works. So let's use Road Recon to authenticate. I think it's Road Recon auth-user, and then we're going to specify our user. Whoops. Right here. And then I think P for password. MegaDev79. Let's see if that works. And it does. Now we can do Road Recon, I think, gather is the syntax, and we can see what groups we're in real quick. We can also drop this into Bloodhound and look at it that way. We can do both. And maybe we will, just for learning. But first, let's look at Road Recon, and now I think it's Road Recon GUI. There we go, and it gives us this IP. We'll copy that. Pull it up in Firefox. There we go. So we have some information here. If we go over to users, who did we compromise? Yuki or something? Yeah, Yuki. All right, Yuki. So we have our display name, our object ID, department development, senior developer, and group membership. So we're a member of the default directory, which means we can probably read stuff, and we're the member of the web app dev team, app service dev web. So that makes me think we can probably access SCM from this. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight that. Right. And whoops. Go back to Road Recon. What role memberships do we have? Whoops. Directory readers. Okay, got it. So I'm guessing with this permission, we can access the SCM console, and we can just confirm that now. If we go back to our URL with SCM in it, I bet we can access it. Oh! I can't. Am I signed into the right account? Okay, no, so we don't have access, but we're in that group, and maybe this is what we have access to? This mega big tech dev app. Let's click that. Oh, so here's another Azure website. Deployment Center. Let's just try SCM on this one. .scm. Hey! We got Kudu service. That's going to be a win. What up, Michaelis? I don't know how to say your name. We are doing some Azure pen testing. All right, let's check this out. No way. Look at that. So to show you guys how realistic PwnLabs.io is, over on YouTube, I know that those of you watching this after the fact or watching other platforms, you can't see the comment, but Pamjin, if I'm saying your name right, said that he or she, I don't want to assume your gender, is on an Azure pen test. They got access to a Kudu environment like this, and there was, I think you said, database credentials as an environmental variable. So the attack path that he discovered in a real web app on a real pen test, that is the attack path we have right here. So let's grab this information and we'll drop it into Cherry Tree. Right, so we have a server and a port. We have initial catalog, must be database. We have a user ID. And we have a password. So this is MS SQL. We could we might be able to interact straight from our Kali machine. I'm not sure. It would depend if they are blocking our IP, if they're only whitelisting certain IPs. Let's try this. Change this to Road Recon. All right, cool. We got that. What is our syntax here now? Can I just do username password at IP? I guess we could do domain too. Let's open this and just get our syntax right first. Does it automatically do the standard port, 1433? Do I have to specify a port? Let's try it without first. Oh, nope. I cannot access it because the IP is whitelisted. So that means if they are blocking your IP, use Kudu console. All right, let's give it a shot. Yeah, because it's blocking RIP, but of course the web app would have access to it. So PowerShell. Try TCPing if you're Kudu. What's going on here? Oh, we're unknown user. What's with this error I keep getting? What is... if we look at our learning goals. Yeah, so look, we're already doing a lot of this. sqlcmd might be the utility we're supposed to use. Let's try this. What do we have installed? We have Python. I wonder if it's possible to interact with the database with Python. Or maybe remote tools for Visual Studio. Here, let's just go like this. Look at that. There it is. So that's installed. The Microsoft SQL Server command line includes sqlcmd, which allows you to enter transact SQL statements. What is it to get... We could probably just pass this information if we go over here. I want to say in a real pen test, do not paste creds into ChatGPT. It's a lab environment, so I don't care. All right, so let's look at this. We have STCP, then we pass it the name of the server. We give it the port it's running on. We give it our user. We give it our password. We give it our database. And then we give it our query. This is just the version information. So let's see if this works. And it looks like it worked. I think. No, it didn't work. What is this weird error I keep getting? Oh no, here it is. There's the version information right here. So that actually did work. This error is just throwing me off, but there's our version information. So we're able to get version information. Let's say I know you can't do it yourself, you silly. Silly ChatGPT. Customer data. Okay. Script Kid said, do you actually notice the difference between GPT-3 and 4 in terms of accuracy? Yes. a big difference. GPT-4 is so much better than GPT-3, in my opinion. So I have GPT-4 through Rhino where I work. They bought a team sub, so I don't pay for it myself. If I was paying for it, I probably wouldn't do it. But if you have someone that will do it for you, I recommend it. It's a lot faster, a lot more accurate, and it also receives and outputs a lot more information overall. But I think it's a game changer between the two different versions. Look at that. We have first name, last name, emails, looks like credit card numbers, and the flag. And with that, whoops. With that, I believe we just completed the scenario, ladies and gentlemen. Put in our flag and submit. And there we go. We have successfully completed the challenge in a very real-world attack situation. A lot of fun. Once again, y'all, PwnLabs.io, the best platform I have found so far, and like by a lot, for learning cloud pen testing. They have labs for Azure, GCP, and AWS, and I am excited to dig into the other ones. But they also have full walkthroughs for everyone. So let's go ahead and look through the walkthroughs together and see like if there's anything I did differently. What is the stability of PwnLabs like? I've never had issues. I'm not just saying that. I've had 0 issues. Every lab that I've done has worked flawlessly. No issues at all. I turn the lab on. I can immediately access stuff. Fully stable. What is the price? I think it is $20 a month. Hold up. Can I check? I'm not sure. Since I'm subscribed, I'm not sure if I can check. I believe it's $20 a month, though. But if you look at any alternative, like Hack the Box has a cloud infrastructure called Black Sky or something, but you need a business license on top of that, and then you have to pay a bunch of money on top of your business license. And I've heard it's really not that stable. A lot of people had issues with it. TryHackMe has their AWS pathway, but you have to pay, what is it, close to $400 up front to get access to it for limited time. PwnLabs is amazing, y'all. I really think give PwnLabs a little more time. They are going to be one of the king platforms. You're going to be talking about TryHackMe, Hack the Box, and PwnLabs. That if you want to learn cloud stuff, PwnLabs is the place where it's going to be, because they're just getting started, and I'm seriously impressed by the quality of their labs. The other thing to tell you about is I will be interviewing Ian, who's the founder of PwnLabs, and it's no secret. If you go to his LinkedIn, he worked at Hack the Box for quite a few years, and he was, I believe, I may have this wrong, but the lead developer of all the Hack the Box like cloud training type stuff. So when he founded his own company, he took a lot of that experience. He was the one who developed a lot of that, and I believe made it even better and improved on it for PwnLabs. So seriously, check it out. Yeah, Thunderdome is coming out too. I think Thunderdome comes out in March, possibly. Thunderdome is a red teaming cloud environment where I think it's 9 flags or so, but you have to use Azure, AWS, and GCP to compromise it. Thunderdome. But like, seriously, y'all, get PwnLabs. It's incredible. I really think you'll enjoy it. If you want to get into pen testing, I've looked at other environments like Altered Security is another one. None of them even come close to PwnLabs. Christopher, I've never been booted out. I've had 0 issues with PwnLabs at all. Now, I haven't been using it very long, but all my experience with it has been flawless. 0 issues. Let's check out this walkthrough, though. So we already did a lot of this stuff. The only difference is that I use AAD internals, whereas the official walkthrough used the actual APIs. Oh, did we ever get that? It still hasn't worked. Oh, look, it finally found it. Once I hit enter on my keyboard, it finally found that. So that was just like, that would have worked. It was just takes a long time for that to work. So it does, look at there, found it again. It does eventually find those things we're looking for, but it takes a long time. Oh, let's go back to this. Other well-known domains. Yep. We did that. User enumeration. Okay, so they went and did it this way, where you can actually check if it's a valid username. I just guessed because the password had dev in it, and this is the senior developer. You could password spray. Here's Omni spray. I've used Oath365 spray before. So you could have sprayed the usernames and passwords to get a valid login. So it's just showing how to do that. Okay. Here's the other cool thing I like about Pwn Labs is that there's multiple ways to accomplish the goal. So you'll notice I did it in a pretty different way than the official walkthrough, but we still made it to the same end goal, where a lot of CTFs, it's like, hey, if you don't do it this exact way, you're not going to get to the end goal. Pwn Labs, there's always multiple ways to accomplish the same goal. And that's just enumerating users. We did that with Road Recon. And then, yeah, group information. We did all this, but I used Road Recon to do it. Whereas they're using, like, PowerShell. I can never remember the syntax. I would be asking GPT all the time. So Road Recon makes it really easy for me to do the same thing. We saw that we were in that web app dev. And then I was like, hey, we have dev. We have the web app. And then I just added SCM to it. AZ resources, so that's another way to do it. I just saw it in the portal. Website contributor, yep. That's that Azure role that allows you to access Kudu, which is what I talked about. Get AZ web app. We could have done that after authenticating. That'd be one way to do it. And we could have got that information. I just guessed. I was like, okay, if we have a static website, we might have SCM access as well. Debug console, yeah, we did that. And we found that information in the environmental variables, yeah. There's that information there. I tried to connect myself, but remember we were blocked. So instead, here's sqlcmd being used. And it doesn't really make the connection. Like, how would you know sqlcmd is on there? Well, what I did, something to keep in mind, is I just listed all installed software, sent it to GPT and said, hey, is there any CLI tool that would allow me to interact with the SQL database? And GPT said, yeah, sqlcmd would allow you to do it. And then I don't know the syntax, so SQL or ChatGPT, based on my questions, gave us the syntax to grab all the customer data, and we got the flag. Let's look at defense. This is the other thing I like about Pwn Labs is they have offense and defense. When responding to a potential security incident involving an Entra ID user, so remember that's that breach password, it's good to know when they last logged in. We can do this using the Microsoft Graph Beta module. The sign-in activity property gives you the most recent interactive and non-interactive sign-in. Using that is part of, okay, we can create Entra ID. Okay, so it's seen, is a user compromised? An example entry is for Yuki, so it would show like my IP saying, hey, this seems to be an odd IP that you shouldn't see these logins from. Now with piecing together a timeline, we can return individual properties such as the date that the sign-in was created. And I'm assuming if you have some logging, you'd be able to output this in a lot easier way. In terms of proactive defense, security defaults are a good baseline to start your posture from. However, it's worth noting that enabling conditional access will disable the security default setting. Conditional access will be needed by many companies in order to implement custom settings, so you will need to make sure that a good level of protection is still provided by conditional access policies. In the current scenario, security defaults is not enabled, and this can make the Entra ID user account less resilient to credential attacks such as credential stuffing and password spraying. MFA would have stopped me. Diagnostic logs and app service, so those aren't enabled, but those would help track it. Yeah, credit card should have been encrypted. Very cool. Well, hey, want to say a massive shout out to the Pwn Labs IO team for another incredible lab, and I'll give you guys a glimpse before we sign off of what Pwn Labs all has to offer. All right, we can choose our platform, and you can look at, some of these are completely free. Like, you can log in right now without a premium sub and do these, and even the free ones are really good. But you can see we have AWS, we have Azure, we're going to have some GCP type labs, all really good labs, very realistic. So, hey, make an account, do the free labs, get hooked, sign up for a premium subscription. I don't get any kickbacks if y'all sign up. Do I have an affiliate code or promo code? No, there was a promo code when I logged in, but I don't see it anymore. But when you log in, you will probably get a promo code, I think for 10% off, but no affiliate code, no kickbacks. Like, I'm not getting a kickback if you sign up. This is not sponsored by Pwn Labs. I just really like their platform, and I think you could get a lot of benefit out of it. So sign up. Are they beginner friendly? Yeah, I'd say all of them are beginner friendly, because not only with beginner friendly, they have a full walkthrough. So you could treat it like a Try Hack Me lab, where you launch the lab and then just follow the walkthrough step by step and seek to understand what you're doing. I would say all of them are beginner friendly because of the full walkthroughs. It's not like, you know, I think about Hack the Box when they come out with an active machine. It's like, hey, bang your head against your desk, because if you don't do it this exact path, it's not going to work for you. Every lab on Pwn Labs has a full walkthrough that will guide you through it. Yeah, really good stuff, y'all. Check out Pwn Labs. I think you'll enjoy it. But, hey, I'll hang around on stream for a little bit if you guys have any more questions. But for those of you who watched the video after the fact on YouTube, thank you again for joining me with another video on Azure Pentesting. Hope you learned some good stuff from it, and I will catch you in the next one.